Hello everyone and welcome to Battle of the Beasts All Generation episode number 92. I'm Adam and today we got another fight going on for a spot in round 3 between two rather okay beasts really. So, representing series 24, Blood of the Beasts, the killer of Akawa the River Beast in round 1. It is book number 1, Electro the Stormbird. And in the other corner, representing the very quickly growing group of specials, it is special number 21, I think. Killer of Talker, the Sky Snatcher in round 1. Verak, the Storm King. So, with both of these beasts, it's alright. I think I think it's going to be an interesting fight, and I say that because of Electro's stats. Speaking of which, let's get to them. So, Electro the Stormbird. In the land of Pylorus, there dwell 3 beasts, created when the legendary warrior known as Tanner defeated the beast Krokol, turning them into 3 smaller creatures. This giant metallic bird is a fearsome foe whose surges of electrical power are deadly during rainstorms. Abilities are Flight, Storm Creation, Electricity Attraction and Absorption, and Natural Weaponry. Weakness is Potion of Krokol's Blood. So yeah, nowhere does it say that he can shoot lightning bolts, but I believe I did do it in previous tournaments and in round 1, so he gets to shoot lightning bolts. He can also shoot them into himself, then gives him more power. Yeah, add to her power. Moving on to Verak the Storm King now. Tom and Alina needed the help of their warrior friend Amelia to fend off this colossal lobster. He had been brought under the thrall of Kensa and Sampeo to wreak havoc on the kingdom of Gwildor. Ooh. And abilities for Verak are Natural Weaponry, Natural Armor, Enhanced Strength, Enhanced Durability, Tidal Wave Generation, and Underwater Breathing. He also brings a storm with him wherever he goes. Weaknesses are Loyalty to the Jeweled Sword and a Breakable Shell. So, that's the matchup. I think it has to be a watery terrain with some rocks jutting out for Electro to land. With that, let's get into the fight. So as the chamber doors open, Verak emerges from his chamber, bringing the storm with him. Tons of rain comes dropping down, but he notices that there's a thunderstorm around. But he knows he doesn't control that. He then looks upon to the other side of the arena and sees lightning strike the top of a chamber. And as soon as the lightning disappears, Electro appears there, just sat there, staring at Verak. Verak roars in aggression, and Electro squawks, takes flight, and starts sending lightning bolts directly his way. Verak uses the waves to protect himself from the lightning, using his tail, using his claws to smash the water, to splash it over him to defend him. And what's he going to do to try and reach Electro? He doesn't know. Electro then decides to summon a bunch of thunderbolts to hit him directly, his entire body, causing electricity to run through his bones. Electro swoops down and just scratches right at Verak across his back. Verak roars in pain, but not at the scratch, but the electrical shock which is going through his entire body. He lifts his tail up to knock Electro to the side. Electro does get knocked to the side. Verak reaches his claws for Electro, and he grabs onto Electro, clamping his wings but also his body, and starts increasing the pressure. Electro summons the power of thunder to strike Verak directly on his back. Verak roars in pain but continues to keep the grip on Electro. Electro calls on thunder on himself. Electro feels the electricity running through his bones and bites down on Verak's claws, which sends electric shock going through Verak's claws, causing him to let go. Verak roars in pain and goes to headbutts Electro, which Electro is able to get away from, and Verak hits the wall right behind Electro. Electro lands on top of Verak and starts scratching and biting at Verak's shell to peel it off. Verak is not giving in though and starts rolling over, causing Electro to go under the water, get crushed by Verak. Electro calls on the power of thunder and it strikes Verak directly in the underbelly. Verak, I guess, brushes it off, gets back up, lifts his claw and smashes it down on top of Electro, right as thunder was about to strike him again. The thunder struck Verak, but he doesn't waver in any way and continues to bring his claw directly on to Electro. Electro goes to dodge, but the claw lands directly on one of Electro's talons. Electro roars in pain and summons the thunder to come and attack Verak even more, but Verak is still crushing Electro's bones with his claws. No matter how much electricity Electro seems to have inside of him, it doesn't seem to be stopping Verak from continually crushing the body of Electro. Electro gives a squawk of aggression, sending the thought process going through to him saying, "You may defeat me now, but my teammate would do anything in his power to defeat you. Right, you will burn with me." Or he says that, but right before Electro can finish his sentence, Verak grabs onto Electro's head with his claw and smashes it in front of everyone to see. Verak chucks Electro's body into the water as it sinks to the bottom. He sees the thunderstorm starting to waver away, but his rain still staying. Verak makes his way back to his chamber, satisfied with his victory. So with that, Verak has won, Electro has lost. That was a very entertaining battle, I might add. So, if you think Electro should have won, please in the comments below think about how my words final and Verak's going through to the next round. So, ultimately, I was going to give Electro the victory, but then I realised something. Verak's incredible size, for one, compared to Electro, is unmatched. So, Verak has the size advantage. And to add on, going to ignore that, going to add on, Verak is a sea beast, meaning salt water. And as far as I'm aware, salt water does not conduct electricity. And because of that, Electro's thunder would do nothing to Verak. Only give him a shock, nothing more, nothing less. If I'm wrong, then oops, I'll remember for next time. But yeah, it just goes to show, just because their typing, let's say, gives Electro the advantage, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. And this is a prime example of it. So that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, definitely subscribe, press the notification bell down below, and I'll see you next time.